family? How is everybody today? I am fine. I still have black screen on my my laptop, so I got to do it on my phone, and so I've kind of switched where I'm doing my stuff on the phone instead of the laptop. Let me see if I switch. So I can switch, and you can see that. So I might do some of that. Interesting. Okay, I'm back. I'm playing around with it just to get the feel of it. Okay, let's look at baseball yesterday. Um, we hit Philly, 10 unit. That wins. We hit Boston under 8.5. That won. We hit the Cubbies under 8.5 at one. We hit the Yankees over 8 and 1. And we hit St. Louis over 8 and 1. We lost the Cleveland game. And then in the NBA, we OKC loses to who did they play? Dallas, I believe. So from what I'm noticing, I think Luca Brasi's on Dallas, and then there's a good player um, on Denver. Never heard of these guys. Then again, I'm not really paying attention. Um, one thing with this, I know the volume's working, and I can see the picture. So it's weird with YouTube. I can see the picture here, but on my YouTube, and I think, and the cam's working, but it just shows black, and then it's a matter of trying to figure out what's going on. But I'm really just on. I don't think I'm on the app. I think I'm just on. Like here, I'm just on YouTube. So hard to say what's wrong, but it works on the phone, so it's even more confusing because it's not YouTube. The cam's working because I can go into my pictures app on my computer and I could go on and I'd see myself. So really, really bizarre. Hey, Real D, baseball picks? Sure, we'll do baseball. We got 5 games today. Let's see. So I had a good game, good day yesterday. The 10 unit Philadelphia won easily, and the Cubs under 8.5 won. So let's see if we can make you some money today. And there's one basketball game. I think we got to go with Minnesota. I don't know. I'll get to that in a minute. All right, so let's look at it. So you got a half hour. First game, the Mets and Philly. Philly's been hot. We got Jose Quintana against Taiwan Walker. Quintana 5.44 ERA, 1-4. Taiwan Walker for Phillies 3-0 with the 4.82. Sounds like a high scoring game. The over under is just 8.5, which is really low. The Mets, good ERA, 2.79, and they don't hit much either, 2.35. Where Philly hit the hell out of them yesterday. They got 10, 12 runs. Philly, kind of a weak bullpen, 4.52, and they hit well. So they're an over team, while the JETSs are an under team. The under against over, 2 weak pitchers. Let's go over 8.5 here. This isn't a bet, though. Let's go Phil over 8.5. Now, 7:10, we got Tampa Bay and Boston. I don't know. The staggered starts here are ridiculous. 6:40, 7:10, 7:40, 8:10, and 10:10. The fuck are they doing? All right. Tampa Bay's a 110 favorite, over under 8. We got Zach Littell, 2-2 with a 3.02 for Tampa. Cooper Criswell, 2-1 with a 2.10 for Boston. I think Boston, well, they had a good ERA, but not so much in the bullpen. And Tampa's pretty weak ER. So you would think this is an under game, but we got to see. So Zach Littell, oh well, he's 2-2 with a 3.02, so he's good. Cooper Criswell for Boston. Plus you're in Fenway. I don't know why they do it backwards on here versus on there. 4 innings, 2.55, 4.5. A couple of shutouts, a couple of 2-hit shutouts, and then a 5-hit one. And he doesn't pitch that well or that much. 4 or 5 innings. So you're going to get to the bullpen on Boston, and they got a 3.19, decent bullpen. Don't love it, but I can see going. They won't go long. This is a confusing one because the bullpen suck, but the starters are good. But how long are they going to go? Game's in Fenway. Let's look at the bullpens. Tampa, yeah, let's go over here. Boston over 8. But this is just a very tiny play. We might not have good plays today. We'll see. Here looks like one. Pitt in Chicago, the Cubbies. Jared Jones, 2-4 at the 2.68 against Justin Steele. 0-0 with the 4.73. I like Pitt in this game. Pitt, Jared Jones, 2-4, so he pitched enough, 2.68. But Justin Steele's 0-0 with the 4.73, and then we get into the Cubbies, terrible bullpen, and they don't hit, and Pitt with the terrible bullpen, and they don't hit. So it's like they'll hit a lot against the bullpen, but they really don't hit a lot. So I took Pitt. The Cubbies are favored. We'll take Jared Jones again. I'm not getting like I've been getting with the Verlanders and the yesterday with the Philly pitcher. So right now we'll just nothing really. Just here's what I like, but they're not even 5 units. Oakland and Houston. Houston's a big favorite, 210 over under 9. Joey Estes, 1-0 with the 1.80 for Oakland, and Christian Javier, 2-1 with the 4.01 for Houston. Let's take a look at Joey boy. Joey. He's only pitched once, 5 innings. Gave up 2 hits, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts. Gave up a home run to Seattle, and they won 8-1, and that's it. And he's not pitched much, so we can't trust Joey. We're not taking Joey's 1.8 ERA on one game. See, not enough information. So we got to go to the bullpen, and we see Oakland. 3.40 ERA. They don't hit against Houston. Hasn't caught stride yet. 4.57 ERA, 2.63. So Houston's more of an over, and Oakland is an under. And what do you do with it again? So they got Houston favored. I have no play here. I don't know what to do. I got, an over team, an under team. What do you do with it? So really nothing here. I can't bet Oakland. Houston maybe, but the 4.01 ERA, do we go over? They don't hit. I'm just letting it go. I don't think I played it yesterday. And Cincinnati and the Dodgers. We got the Dodgers. Holy shit, 350 favorites, 7.5. Brent Sutter, 0-0 with a 3.86 against Tyler Glasgow, 6-1 with a 2. There we go. So we're going to take the Dodgers. That'll be a 5-unit play, and that's it. And there's only 6 games, but the Yanks beat Minnesota 5-0. Clark Schmidt against Joe Ryan, which I would have thought would have been a low-scoring game. I was on earlier trying to fix my black screen on my Uh, like now, I can see myself and you can see me, but I can't. If I was on my laptop, you could see me, but I can't see myself. So I don't know why it's black on there, but yet it works here. So I don't think it's probably the stupid Google Chrome. I'm ready to just go buy a new laptop because I probably need one for if I'm going to teach class. I ain't teaching it like this. So that's your baseball. So it's Philly over 8.5 for nothing, Boston over 8, Pitt, and then the 5 stars, the Dodgers over Cincinnati. But they're such a big favorite. They're a 300. So, but money's money. So that's what I would look at. All right. So that's baseball. Let's go to the NBA. We got one game today. We got Denver and Minnesota. Okay. Minnesota's 2.5, 206. Denver leads the series 3-2. Minnesota back against the wall. They must win. So I'm going to take Minnesota mini minus 2.5. We'll make it for 5 units. Again, they have to win. I mean, this is do or die. They lose, the series is over. At least they survived. Now, I don't know what happened. They won the first 2 games, then they lost the next 3. Luca Brasi came out, I guess. I don't know if he's on Denver or Dallas, Jokic or whatever his name is. I don't pay much attention. So we've got Boston's in 4-1, and they won by 15. And I didn't play the game. The spread got up to 15.5, but I didn't. That's why I didn't play it. I didn't trust Cleveland. We won with the Knicks. They now up 3-2, and we're going to take Indy tomorrow. OKC Dallas. Dallas leads 3-2. Won the critical game in OKC, so we'll probably take Dallas tomorrow or when that series goes. Denver mini. You've got to believe this will go 7 games. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I gotta go with my theory, which is you've got to play. You've got to play the thought. You got to play the backs against the wall theory. That always works. Well, let's say it works 80% of the time. But if you can tell me something else that works 80% of the time, I'd love to hear it. So right now, I like many. They're a good team. It's not like they're a bad team. And in these series, they don't go 4-0. They do ebb and flow. So Denver can relax. They're up 3-2. You saw when they were down 2-0. They played very good game 3, game 4, and game 5. Now they have to. Now, Mini, for the first time, is now facing elimination. I would expect them to play a good game. Will they win it? I don't know. We're only laying 2.5, so it's a good bet. It's a bet you have to make, Minnesota. You can't outthink it. Oh, Denver, look for Denver. No, you can't outthink it. So go with Mini there, and then we'll go with Dallas to end it because we went with OKC yesterday, and it wasn't a pretty sight. And if that's how they play game 5 at home, a must-win game, now they got to go to Dallas and win. And their backs are against the wall, but their back was against the wall yesterday. So I'm not messing around. I think Indy wins game 6. They need it. The Knicks won at home, and so it's Indy should tie the series up. Boston's already in. We've got Mini in Denver. This should go 7, and OKC Dallas. Had OKC won, I would have bet Dallas tomorrow, and then the dog in game 7, but seems like OKC can't stop it. So what happened to our friend, Mr. Anthony Davis here, who's the best player in the world the first two games, and then where did he go? What happened the next three there, Mr. Davis? So uh, don't seeing that. So that's our one play today. Take Minnesota, lay the 2.5 at home, do or die. They're down 3-2, so they should win because they have to win, and Denver doesn't need it. They can win Game 7. So from a psychological standpoint, that's it. Cavs was a terrible team, yeah, but they covered. Didn't they get 15.5? They lost by 15, so we won on them. Yeah, well, they were the 4th seed, but they weren't even that good. How do I sound okay, Greg and John? I look, you can see me, I can sound. So we will go from there. Real D got his baseball picks. The only pick I like is LA tonight, 5 unit. I got Philly over 8.5, Boston over 8, and Pitt. I don't love any of them. They're just plays. Okay, let me know. Yeah, I can't. I still see a black screen, which really you can still see me. Thank you, Greta. Apparently, if I do my laptop, I get black, but you can still see me, which maybe I have to get used to it. But I like using my phone for this. All right, now I'm gonna swing it. Well, we got to look at gold for a minute. Let's go to our gold. Gold was quite nice. Silver was quite nice. So as of right now, 623. We got gold at 2378. It's down 13, but it's fine. It's holding at 2378, 2380, we'll call it. It got down, it started at 2394 at 2 a.m., went down to 2372 at the 10 o'clock drop. Then it came right back up to 2380 by 11 or by noon. And it stayed there, dropped a little. It's kind of coming back. So 2378 for gold, which is fine. It was 2300. Silver 2964. I like how it's holding. It got to 2972, and then it took a big dump at 8 o'clock. And then at the 10 o'clock massacre went down to 2939, and then immediately by noon was back to 2970, and it's 2964 right now going up. So a nice, um, they're holding in nicely, which is good. So that's all we want there. So good deal. All right. Nothing. There was a comment on brics where they're all going to look, each country was going to look at its, come up with a way, but I thought Russia had already done it where they said it's gold back. It's got to be gold back currency. They're all buying gold. They're all trying to get out of the dollar. Putin and Xi are just like saying, end this war already. They're not happy, so they're coming out with gold, definitely. Now let's go with we are going to look at the NFL. Odds. I'm going to take us through week 1, and we're going to make up our own odds. I just had it up. Why can't I see it? Hmm. Maybe I got to go to schedule. Yeah, but I was in schedule. Yeah, here we are. Okay. Here is week 1. And we will be quoting on this. I will take the controls, but I want to show you. So I am in Yahoo NFL scores and schedules, and this is week 1. All right. Here we go, as the Joker would say. They need somebody like the Joker to run the NFL. Be so much more entertaining. All right. So we've got Baltimore at Kansas City. Thursday night, 8:20. Kicks it off. My line will be KC -3 over under 42. And I would probably like the under here. It's too early. We got to see the injuries. But the reason we took KC in the playoffs, they were dogs. They're not going to be dogs here. They'll be 3-point favorites, maybe more. We know Lamar, he can't handle a good defense. Mahomes can handle it, but it'll be a tight. This should be a low-scoring game. We're going to take it under for sure, especially if Derrick Henry, he's going to run the ball. We'll run the clock more. This could be an Army-Navy game. So probably under here. Game 2's Friday. I believe it's from Brazil. Green Bay at Philly. It's on Peacock, so I'm sure everybody's going to run and buy Peacock to watch the fucking Eagles. You got to be kidding me. Green Bay showed a lot of offense, in the champion against the Niners, and they killed Dallas. And I think they got it going, even though we hate Jordan Love. We see them I see them right now, they'll win the Central because they have the best offense and defense, and the coach is much better than the Lions. So see Green Bay winning it, probably with 10, 11 wins. The Lions, I looked at their schedule yesterday. They'll be lucky to get 8 wins, probably 6 wins would be a good, depending on when they play these teams. So in this, on a neutral site, Green Bay and Philly, I would think Green Bay would be a 3-point favorite, and I would look for an over-under of 47, and I would go over on it. Philly's defense sucked, and they really have great defensive players. I don't know who their defensive coordinator is going to be. Green Bay, I mean, we love their offense. We don't love Jordan Love, but we like the coach and the receivers, everybody. So pending injuries, this is definitely an over. If by any stretch of the imagination Green Bay's the dog, this could be a lock. But right now, this is a heavy over. Definitely a strong play to start. Now, because they don't practice, there's a double-edged sword. The offense isn't in sync because they're not playing in the preseason games, which is one of the incredibly stupid ideas. The defenses can't play 4 quarters because they don't play them in the preseason. So you're sitting there with a bunch of, a bunch of players that aren't in shape, not week 1. So this should go over. I think it's easier for the offense to kind of get in sync. Well, it's always like the Rose Bowl game when I was growing up, and you'd watch Michigan or Ohio State against USC, and they played Thanksgiving, and here it's New Year's, and they haven't played in 5-6 weeks, and they came out in the first half and looked like shit. Then by the second half, they started looking like a football team again. It's very hard to get the timing down. But Green Bay is a very balanced team, and Philly, so I look for a heavy over here. Philly, right now doesn't have a defense. We'll see who the D coordinator is. Green Bay is look pretty. They got some good defensive play. I got a couple guys from Georgia, and look for them to be there. I got my friend here who says that Green Bay, about the Georgia guys, and I'm like, number seven's your best defensive player from Georgia. I don't know what he's bitching about. You're not accidentally good in college, and then you can't. That's why I don't like these guys drafted out of Delaware. Like, yeah, he probably, how good is he that Delaware gave up 50 points a game? Probably didn't have a good defense. So that's what you look at. All right, that's Friday night. Why are you going to Brazil? I get the money, but you're really fucking your own players. At least KC, Baltimore's at KC, but you're really fucking your own players with all this travel. I saw again, I had a new thing. Jacksonville again plays back-to-back games in London. And the light went on, said they have the advantage in the second game because they're already there. But as we saw near the end of the year, they were so tired from traveling to London, staying another week, getting on a different time zone, and then playing another game. And so you're there like you're there a week, you're there 2 weeks, then you fly back to Jacksonville. So now you got to get used to a time, but being there 2 weeks gives you a small advantage on the week 2, but then by week 15, 14, you're exhausted. And Jacksonville, that's what they did. They lost out and didn't even win the division to fucking Houston. I mean, that's just crazy. They ended up 9-8. Trevor Lawrence, he's our man. He gets you to 9-8 in a very, very weak league. All right, we got Pittsburgh and Atlanta. This starts our Sunday at 1. My line with Russell Wilson against, is it going to be Mr. Penix or is it going to be Kirk Cousins? If it's Kirk Cousins, I like Pittsburgh by 3. Over under probably 45-ish. If it's Penix, then I think I'd still make Pitt 3, but I like Atlanta if it's Penix, although it's his first game. If they played this in week 7 or 8, Atlanta would be a 3-point favorite, and I'd be all over Penix. This is what I'm talking about, the draft, okay? Baltimore, KC, Green Bay, Philly, same quarterbacks. Pittsburgh gets Russell Wilson, so it's an unknown. And Atlanta gets Cousins or Penix, hopefully Penix. But you don't know how Penix is going to, you don't know how either of them is going to play. We know Cousins sucks. Penix is very good, but he hasn't played with these guys yet. It takes time. When he went to Washington, it took him a few, 5-6 games to get going. Same thing with Bo Nix. I remember Bo Nix' first game, Georgia beat him 52-0. Then by the end of the year, Oregon could have played with Georgia. So Pitt, Atlanta, this is probably a dog game. I don't mind Russell Wilson as a dog. Defensively, Pitt's got way the better defense. Probably be a low-scoring game. I don't know who Atlanta's offensive coordinator is. Somebody with their head so far up their ass, they don't know what they're doing. But they had really bad quarterbacks last year, Heineken and Riddler. So this year they can go back up somebody. And now they actually have Penix, who's a good quarterback. And then we'll have to see about Cousins. I don't like him at all. But Russell Wilson, I will be shocked if he doesn't play superstar again. He's not that bad. I don't understand what happened, but he's got good receivers here. He's got a good defense. So let's see. But this is probably a dog game. You can't make Atlanta a home dog. If Pitt's a 3-point favorite, you probably take the under. If Atlanta's favorite, we got to take Pittsburgh, especially with Kirk Cousins at quarterback. All right, Arizona, Buffalo. We got Kyler Murray against Josh Allen. Again, keeping in mind week 1, they haven't played preseason. The defense are never going to play 4 quarters. A lot of pulled hamstrings in that. And then you have the quarterbacks hasn't really what you do in practice and what you do in a game. So look for a lot of lower scoring games week one because they're just not on sync. After about by week three, we should have pretty good offenses. Arizona, Buffalo, I would say Buffalo, 10-point favorite, over under 50. This is clearly an over game. Kyler Murray and Josh Allen, no defense for either team. See, I love, like, because they drafted some guy in the third round. I mean, I do like Buffalo's safety from, I think he went to UCLA or Utah. Great player. How's he going to fit? Does the defensive coordinator smart enough to use him? This I'm not sure, but definitely I like the over here. Kyler Murray, that's the one thing about him. He's quick. He should get you some points. 20 points. Buffalo probably 40. Probably a 60-point game. You got an over under probably 47 to 50, depending on injuries and everything. But Buffalo needs to get off to a good start. They normally will murder Arizona in this type of game. They want to get off to a good start, and they got Kansas City, Cincinnati, and the Jets's who are pretty good as long as Aaron Rodgers plays. So Miami still stinks. They'll still kill them, but so I got Buffalo probably a 10-point favorite with probably a 49-50 over under when we go over in this game. Tennessee against the Bears. Which team is worse? Tennessee, what do you got? Who's your quarterback? Oh, you're going with Will Levis. Wow, I know people in high school that are better than Will Levis. You got to what kind of idiot draft was that? And then I love, well, we got to see what kind of player he is. He sucks. Didn't you watch him in college? What do you got to watch him in the pros to see he sucks? Sort of like Justin Fields and Mitch Trubisky and Thurston Howell III. We know these guys suck. Why did you draft them? This is actually cherry tart for my foot. A little bit better today. I was able to go to the pool, but still hurt. All right, break it down. Tennessee, terrible team. Be lucky to win 2 games, except for in the worst division in the league with Houston, Indy, and Jacksonville. So they probably win 4 games, beating Houston, Indy, and Jacksonville once. New head coach. You have no quarterback. You don't have Henry anymore. You don't have any receivers. You don't have it. Well, you had a decent defense, but that was with Mike Vrabel, which you got rid of. So Tennessee's going to be terrible. Here come the Bears. No quarterback, no running back, couple of receivers. Keenan Allen, we'll see. DJ Moore, okay, he's good. Keenan Allen, we know is good, but that was a particular offense at San Diego with a really good quarterback throwing him the ball in Herbert. He doesn't have a real good quarterback throwing him the ball. I love how everybody, I'm listening in the car and they just, they were going through the Lions today and I almost drove off the road. Yeah, I can see them 9, 10 wins, 12 wins. What are you fucking, did you look at their schedule? We'll go through that just for the fun of it, but they'll win 6 games. I mean, they got to play Frisco and Dallas, and they get lucky. I think they get the AFC South, so they get a couple of wins there, and then they get lucky. They get the Bears in Minnesota twice, so they lose both games to Green Bay. So we'll see, but that's where their wins are going to come. They don't get Carolina and Atlanta this year, unfortunately. I know that's hurting them. And I don't know if they get, I think they get Baltimore. We'll go through that later. But anyway, back to Tennessee, Chicago. I mean, this is an under for sure. Where are you going to get points? You have no quarterback. So you got to understand Chicago without Caleb sucks. Who are you going to have out there? I mean, at least if you had Fields, you could start Fields the first 4 or 5 games and give him some competition. But what you've done is, which is what it smells like, is you got rid of Fields. So Caleb, it's your team, no competition, and he don't have any, and they're going to be in big trouble when he throws 2 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, like he did against Notre Dame, UCLA, and Utah, right? So I don't see where there's points. Chicago, pretty good defense. Tennessee, it was all Mike Vrabel. I think the Bears will be a 3-point favorite and maybe a 39 or 40 over under would be my guess. And this is an under. You when you got 2 lousy quarterbacks, you bet under. The Bears, pretty good defense. Tennessee probably won't get 10 points. The Bears probably won't get much more than that either. 10 to 10, 10 to 13 to 10 game. So go under in this. Now I will be open minded with Caleb, but I've seen him against good defenses, and he doesn't show up. He's like Tagliavoa. He doesn't show up against good teams, and that's what it's going to be. Next game. Here's our first lock: New England at Cincinnati. Drake May, if he even starts, and I think Brissett will start, has no chance. Cincinnati is pretty pissed. Joe Burrow should have been recovered now. Cincinnati, probably a 14-point favorite in this game. Over under 45. Burrow's going to light it up because he's pissed. And you got Chase, by the way, and T. Higgins is still there. I don't know what running back they added, but look for Cincinnati to just annihilate New England. New England's got a new coach who's never coached before. Sounds like the Lions. They have no quarterback. Maybe Brissett, who's okay. If he's even on New England, I think. As soon as you see Drake May, we start taking the gold out and bet against them. New England will not win a game next year unless they play Carolina or maybe against Tennessee. They're a terrible team. No defense. You have lost Belichick, who sucked anyway. Once we saw Brady gone, what did he do? Oh, yeah, they won 4 games last year. Oh, were they 4-13 with Belichick? What are you going to do without him? They'll be lucky. They maybe will win a game if they get a Carolina or a Tennessee or something. They can't beat the Jets as long as the Jets have Aaron Rodgers. They can't beat Miami, and they can't beat Buffalo. See, Buffalo and Miami will feast on New England. New England, you're not winning a game. So we like Cincinnati by at least 14 here. They'll probably win like 38-0. I mean, I don't see how New England's going to score. Maybe Brissett, maybe he gets a touchdown. But otherwise, look for Cincinnati. Pretty pissed off Cincinnati after losing Burrow last year. And they got KC coming and Buffalo coming. Look out for them. So Cincinnati can't afford. This is already a back against the wall game with their schedule. They've got to blow out New England. And Joe Burrow, man, he's chomping at the bit. Houston and Indy. Here we go. The 2-0 teams. Well, by the way, Alex, I figured out how to unlock you, so you are now able to come back on. You weren't locked, but there was something, so I saw where I deleted the lock or whatever that they did, so now you are able, if you say hi, I will say hi. So hi, Alex. You can now get back in the fray. Houston, Indy. They're making a big deal out of C.J. Stroud. That's not there. I got to have Houston as maybe a 4-point favorite in the game, over under 42, 43. Indy lost Minshew, so now they got to go with Richardson, I guess. I don't know who their backup is. Is Richardson healed from the shoulder? And we know he's not any good. He runs. Houston doesn't have any defense, even though these people like Houston's defense because he was the 49er coordinator. And you see what he left them last year. They had trouble, San Francisco. and they had to fire that defensive coordinator. So I like the dog in this game. If Houston's a road favorite of 3 or 4 points, I'll take Indy in 10. I don't love Richardson, but he does seem to be able to run and score touch. He's like Fields. He can't throw, but he can get you points. So I definitely like the dog in this game. I'm not sure about over under. They're both very confusing teams. Their defenses suck. Indies especially. I do not like Richardson or Stroud, but it's not a tease the dog game. I don't think. So we'll see. See, I got to learn these teams better because they're both enigma. They're both the Riddlers, right? What are they? You can't trust Houston. We saw that in the Baltimore game. You certainly can't trust Indy because we've seen them against many weak teams and they didn't show up. So let's put that on the side burner. Next game, we're still at 1 o'clock. Jacksonville, Miami. Trevor Lawrence against Tagliavoa. Both quarterbacks suck. And this is why I say it. Who you want to bet on? You got Trevor Lawrence and Tagliavoa. Who do you bet on to win this game? I ain't betting a nickel on it. Jacksonville, kind of a little bit of an over team. Miami is definitely an over team in Miami. So in Miami, Miami plays really well. They score a lot. They're used to the heat. Jacksonville should be fine with the heat. If this is less than a 48, I'm going to go over on it. This is what Tag does against the weaker teams like Jacksonville and Indy and Houston. He's going to score a lot. Then he looks like the superstar until he gets in with Buffalo and the Jets and Baltimore, Cincinnati, Kansas City. Then he looks like a superstar. But look at him in the playoff game, 26-7 to Kansas City. He got you 7 points. Look at him against, what was it, Baltimore. Baltimore needed the clinch. They beat him 50-10. I mean, that's my point with Tag. As soon as you bring him good teams, good defenses, he doesn't show up. So keep that in mind. Oh, I got to remember I am on my phone. Okay, because I got the battery. I plug in. Actually, I think I can plug the phone in with my charger, with my cord for my computer, I think. Anyway, just thinking outside the box as I do. So I definitely like this game over. Miami, no defense. Jacksonville has little of anything. Um, you're not betting on Trevor Lawrence to win you anything. Can't throw, decent runner, but he's a quarterback. You kind of want him to throw. So Miami, very good at home. So my spread, Miami by 7 and 50. So I probably like the over 44 here. Again, these are my spreads, what it should be in reality, not the bullshit they give you. We're still at 1 o'clock. Sunday, Carolina, New Orleans. Well, New Orleans should be a 10-point favorite. They probably will be a 7-point favorite. Carolina's terrible. I mean, Steve Young is just horrible. Derek Carr, why isn't our friend, whatchamacallit, from Fresno State playing? I want to say Hannah, but I know that's not right. Jake Hayner. I knew it was something like that. I wish Jake Hayner would start, but they'll probably still go with Carr, but he's bad. The coach is terrible at New Orleans. They got Olave, who was much better than Smith Najiba. I don't know why everybody loved him, except for Professor had Olave as the better receiver, which he was. Uh, Decent defense. This should be an under. New Orleans 23-0, something like that. I don't see Carolina winning a game or scoring a lot with Steve Young. So go New Orleans. We can get it under 3. It's probably a good play, especially at home. Minnesota and the Giants. Oh my God. Can it get any worse? Minnesota, who's their quarterback? You're gonna go with Nick Mullins again? The Giants, who's your quarterback? Daniel Jones. So there won't be a lot of offense in this game. Minnie's got a decent defense. The Giants just suck, basically. Um, uh, if J.J. McCarthy starts and they're favored, we lock the Giants. But with that said, I don't even think Tyrod Taylor's there anymore, so I don't know who their backup is. You're not winning with Daniel Jones. He can't complete a pass. A brilliant move taking a wide receiver with your first pick with all the you needed a quarterback and a good quarterback class. You're sticking with Daniel Jones because he went to the Peyton Manning camp. I mean, it's just when he was what 8 years old. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Giants can't beat anybody. Vikings, if it's JJ McCarthy, can't beat anybody. If it's Nick Mullins, they can score some points. So if it's Nick Mullins against Jones, I like the dog. If it's J.J. McCarthy against Jones, I like the Giants or probably the under. I honestly don't see how you're going to score in this game. So let's go under. Let's make the spread right now. Giants 3 and 44. And we'll go under 50. Oakland and San Diego. We finally get to our 4 o'clock games. Oakland against San Diego. You got Gardner Minshew quarterbacking Oakland. Where the hell is Kenny Stabler? Where's Fred Blitnikoff? Where's Dave Casper? They really need Dave, but they got Dave Casper in my man Brock Bowers, and they're all like, "Oh, you had a tight end, Mike Myers from Notre Dame." Well, Brock Bowers is not going to replace him. You're going to run Myers as a tight end and Brock Bowers as your slot receiver. He's better than any slot receiver now. He's better than most receivers. He doesn't run Cliff Brand's speed, but he gets open and he doesn't drop the ball. And he's a good blocker and he's a good runner. So it's sort of like using 2 tight ends, but the second tight end's better than your receivers. They still have Devontae Adams. I don't know what they got for running back. They let their running back go, Jacobs. Um, Great defense. San Diego blew it. Should have had Brock Bowers. Terrible pick. What are you going to do with a guard? Tell me about that. You drafted a guard in the 5th pick. Who's got their head up their ass there? How do you make that mistake when Brock Bowers is on the board? You've got the quarterback. Brock Bowers fills in the position, and you don't do that after letting your receivers go, which was incredibly stupid also. So San Diego is going to be a defensive team with Harbaugh. He's going to think he's at Michigan in the Big Ten. This game probably won't hit 10. You got the Raiders with their defense is fantastic and no offense, and you got San Diego with Herbert, but you got Harbaugh with his head up his ass. Were they going to run the ball? And then their defense, I don't know. He added a few guys. One guy from Michigan, and he kept Bosa and Khalil Mack. So look for San Diego to run the ball a lot. You could have had Brock. Believe me, the guard from Notre Dame, you could have gotten the 5th round. What a stupid. You can't get Brock Bowers in the 5th round. You can get him in the 1st round. You can always get a lineman. And you're not going to notice this guy from Notre Dame. You won't even notice him. Because guess what? They can blitz. They can bring 6 guys or loop. And who the fuck's you going to guard versus you don't have a tight end. Oh my God. So this is going to be low scoring. San Diego is probably going to be like Oakland, very low scoring team. So let's say San Diego will probably be maybe a 3-point favorite. Over under here 42. So I'm going to go under 48. Denver, Seattle, the old AFC game. We got David Craig against John Elway. Now, we love Sean Payton. Seattle's new coach, I thought was the offensive coordinator from Washington College, but he's, I think, the offensive coordinator here. I think the head coach comes from Washington or Carolina or something. A real smart move there. So let me see. You let Coach Pete go for some nonsense guy out of what, Carolina or Washington. What a dumb move. I don't see Seattle being very good. They needed a quarterback. They're not winning with Geno Smith. You got great receivers. You're wasting at least two of them. Why you drafted Smith and Jimba? Incredibly stupid. You've got Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet. You've got great running backs, great receivers, no quarterback, and no defense. What are you kidding? Denver here, Bo Nix. I love him. Bo Nix is much better than Geno Smith. Okay, I don't need to see him play a down in the NFL to know he's better than Geno Smith. Um, Seattle will probably be a 3-point favorite here. I love Denver as the dog. Over under mid 40s. Probably be a high scoring game because neither team really has a shutdown defense, and good receivers and running backs for Seattle. I'll score in the 20s. Bo Nix probably take him a quarter or so to get going, but we got to see who their receivers are. You got Sean Payton. You got to love it. He'll bring guys from New Orleans, right? Kamara will be playing, right? So later in the year, I would love Denver as the dog. We got to give Bo Nix a little bit of time, but I think this game will be 24-23, and we just go by whatever the line is. So my guess is Denver 3 or 4, and like I said, 45, somewhere in there. So we go over 39, lock. Dallas and Cleveland. Pathetic Dallas. Oh my God. What the real line should be in this game, Dallas Cleveland, is Cleveland by 7. You won't see it, but that's what the real line is. Dak Prescott sucks. They got Elliott back. CeeDee Lamb. Thank God they got Micah Parsons. You still have the worst coach in the history of coach. He couldn't win he won once with Aaron Rodgers. What do you expect him to do with Dak Prescott? They don't realize Dak Prescott sucks. I don't know how you don't. It's as clear as Mitch Trubisky sucking or Thurston Howell the third sucking. Cleveland, we don't know who their quarterback is. Deshaun Watson stinks. I do like Thompson Robinson from UCLA. Hopefully they don't have Joe Flacco on the team anymore. Very good defense. They should be able to run if Nick Chubb. They're a very good team, Cleveland. At home, this game really probably won't be close. The real line should be Cleveland minus 7, 45, 42, because they both have good defenses. The line you'll probably see is Cleveland minus 3 and still 44-45. Micah Parsons against Myles Garrett is the game, and Dak Prescott with his 3 interceptions here. Cleveland wins this game easy. Absolutely. Cleveland by 10 here. Washington and Tampa Bay. We are still 4:30 on Fox on Sunday. Washington and Tampa Bay. Washington, the only saving grace is Jalen Daniels. Tampa Bay, their coach is terrible. I think they have their receivers back. The Baker, I like Baker, but he's nothing. I don't know what Washington is right now. I think they're going to end up being an over team with Jalen Daniels. He can run around enough. And I see him running a lot, which will get you field goals because you can't run inside the 20. So they should move a little bit. Tampa, I do like the cornerback. What's his name? Just signed. Winfield Jr. is very good. Their linebackers are good. But their coach is so bad. Oh, my God. I don't know who the running back is. I would say Tampa by maybe 4 here, and if it's Daniel's first game, I don't know. I can't see a lot of points this early in the year. I think this is a 20-14 14, 20 to 16, 17 game. I like the under here. I'm going to say Tampa 345, and I will go under 51 here. Yeah, Washington. If they'd have drafted Drake May, they wouldn't have won a game. So we give them credit for Daniels, but that's it. The Lions and the Rams, the Sunday night showcase. The Lions think they're all that, huh? Well, here comes first loss. Rams in a revenge mood against Detroit, who still doesn't have a defense. You got Pukanuka and the other guy. Now we don't remember the other receiver. Stafford coming home. I think this is an over game because Aaron Donald retired. I don't think Detroit can stop anybody, but their offense should get them 20 points. The Rams probably in the 30s. The line here would be Detroit minus 3 or 4. Over under should be about 50. I like the dog and I like the Rams. The Rams will win the game. For you money line boys, this is revenge, and this will expose the weak Lion defense. Pukanuka is going to catch 20 passes here. I don't care that they've drafted cornerbacks. This isn't college. We don't know if they can even play in the pros, more or less start, more or less cover Pukanuka. That ain't going to happen. They have the same defensive coordinator who couldn't stop the win, so that ain't going to happen. So definitely like the Rams here, a live dog and a live over. So depending on what the line, if it's 7, I'll jump on the Rams. It'll be a lock. If it's 3, then I'll attempt to go more over unless it's 55-56. But the Lions are an over team. And then the star of stars, Monday night, the Jets, Jets against the Niners. Ooh, beautiful game. This you just got to bet under, even with Aaron Rodgers. 2 great defenses. Again, the Jets run the Niner defense, so they know how to beat it. As long as Aaron Rodgers plays more than one play, look for the... I'm not going to say the Jets are a live dog. I like the under more. I think you got to have the Niners will be a 7-point favorite. Over under will be 45, 46 maybe. The tough game for the Jets to open at the Niners. The only other worst would have been at Kansas City. So at the Niners, they can certainly win the game with Rodgers. Great defense. And the coach knows the Niners. He was there. So 24-20 this game, somewhere like that. As long as I can go under 50, I'm going to go under. The Jets are going to bring it. They're as long as Aaron Rodgers plays more than one play. I really love the Jets here. They're a strong dog. The note on the Super Bowl: the team that loses usually struggles a little bit the next year, because they played the extra games. Keep in mind they played the Dallas game or the Green Bay game, then they had to beat the Lions, and then they had to beat KC. So they're playing 20 games, and they're the only, them and KC with all the extra games does make a difference. Now they're going to be flat because they're not going to scrimmage. It'll just be practice throws. So I like the Jets coach much better than Frisco's coach. He's an idiot. Shanahan, just like his father, so I don't really like that. So I think I like the Jets. I think the Niners will be 7, like I said, 7-45. I would take the Jets over 10, and they can easily win the game. And over under of, if I get 45, 46, definitely under 51, 52, not a question. So pretty much that's week one's early lines, my lines, and early picks. The way I see them as of now, injuries will change that. And starting quarterbacks will change it. So if we go through the list again, so the games we're going to keep an eye on. All right, Baltimore, KC, nothing new. It's Lamar and Mahomes. Green Bay, Philly. What's going on with Philly and Hurts? Green Bay looks really good. There'll be a live dog if they're a dog, and the game's in Brazil. So we don't really have to look at Green Bay. We do want to see Philly. The center's gone. Kelsey retired. And Hurts, we see, sucks. Their defense, they need a new defensive coordinator. So we got to watch Philly. They won't be very good this year. Neither will Dallas. Let's move on. Pitt, Atlanta. There we're taking notes. How's Russell Wilson play? And is it Penix or is it Cousins? And I think they should go with Penix. He's much better than Cousins. Clearly, by the 2 Oregon wins this year, he proved his point to me. I don't know what you're looking at. Cousins, oh yeah, he lost to the Giants in the playoffs 2 years ago. Yeah, I really like Cousins. He's really clutch. He sucked at Michigan State. I don't know what anybody saw in that guy. He had Jefferson, and now he gets to throw the ball to who? Um, so I think Pittsburgh will come on. Atlanta, I don't know who their offensive coordinator is, but you got to go to if you go to Penix, you have a chance. Arizona, Buffalo, we don't. We know the quarterbacks there. Buffalo will be a little more offensive. Arizona, we know they have no defense. So they'll both these teams will be over. Kyler Murray, like I said, and Josh Allen, we don't really need to see. We know them. Tennessee, Chicago, now we'll be keeping an eye. Will Levis sucks. And if it's Caleb, don't be thinking he's any good. I'm just, you know, it's the same as gold, right? Gold's going up, right? The dollar's going out. That's a fact. You got Caleb here. He sucks. I'm sorry. He let's watch the Notre Dame game as much as you want, and then go. Well, he couldn't do anything against Notre Dame. What the hell is he going to do against Tennessee? But if you're naive enough to think he's going to come in week one with no preseason, just practice, learning his receivers, who, by the way, Romo Doozy played for Washington in college. Is he going to be another Smith the GB? Again, it was because of Penix. Penix made Romo Doozy. We don't know if he's any good. Keenan Allen is at San Diego, so all of a sudden he's got to learn the Bears. Um, that's a big difference. Herbert threw him the ball nice. Now Caleb won't make the same passes. He's not a good quarterback. He won't realize the guy's open. So I don't know what you're expecting with Caleb, but I don't see much. So we got to watch who the Bears' backup is and who Tennessee's backup is, how their coaches are. The Bears, where their coach sucks. So we got to see what's going on, but I'm not counting on the Bears to win too many games or Tennessee. They'll both be lucky to win 4. New England, Cincy. New England's going to suck with Drake May. They'll be better with Brissett. Then you got to wonder why they drafted Drake May if he won't even make the team. They'll make the team, but it'll be second, third string. Look for Bengals to be on fire this year with Joe Burrow and Chase. Good, decent defense. They got a new running back. Burrow's pissed, right? Burrow got hurt a couple times last year, so look for Burrow to be healthy and pissed. And that's one guy you don't want pissed because they might run the table. Houston and Indy. what do you got here? Richardson against C.J. Stroud. Oh my God. Um, Neither team are any good. Where'd they go? Houston went 10-7, and Indy went what 9-8. I don't know how they won so many games. Just that's how bad they're. They beat Tennessee and Jacksonville a few times, and they beat each other. Um, I am not convinced on C.J. Stroud. Just keep watching those Michigan games and wondering where he disappears to. That's all I can say. And maybe they're a live dog. Maybe they're good at home. I wouldn't trust them as a road favorite. They lost to Carolina last year. How the hell could you lose to Carolina? At Carolina, what, 17-14 or something? I'm not sold on Houston. Just don't get emotional on him. The guy's not a very good quarterback. Richardson's even worse. How he got drafted, I don't know. He's too stupid to slide. Let's see what he does. So these are games in progress that we're trying to figure out what is Houston and Indy. Don't know. Jacksonville, Miami, we know what Tagliabue is. If the team sucks, he'll do good. If they play a good team, he won't show up. And Trevor Lawrence stinks. So again, they'll probably will they be an over or under? That's the problem with Jacksonville. They ended up going 9-8, and you don't know if they're over or under and what the fuck they are. They don't have a defense. They don't have a quarterback. So their coach, I kind of like their coach at Philly, but he's in over his head here. Miami's got Miami's a good over team, a good offensive team. So we know that. We don't really need to see too much of them. We already know what they are. Carolina, New Orleans. Carolina, Steve Young. Oh my God, they're terrible. New Orleans with their car. He better hit Olave a bunch more. And you got Kamara. Fucking use him. Uh, and then the defense is fairly good. So problem is the coach. I don't understand. You get a coach and he sucks, but you keep him on. And you get a quarterback and he sucks and you keep him on. I mean, it took Chicago 3 years to get rid of Fields. It took Washington, 2 years to get rid of Thurston Howell. The Giants still are trying to fuck around with Daniel Jones. How long is it going to take Carolina to realize that Steve Young sucks? We can see it right away. I saw it in college. Then I saw last year. Okay, what do you think is going to make him better? Well, we better have 5 receivers and a good offensive coordinator with all these trick plays. I mean, come on. If he's a good quarterback, he doesn't need all that. These are pro receivers. So we'll keep an eye on New Orleans. Hopefully they're a little better. Carolina just sucks. Minnie and the Giants, two big Riddler question marks. Who's going to be the quarterback? Daniel Jones sucks. Not much in the defense. Who's going to run without Barkley? And then Minnesota, J.J. McCarthy's terrible. Well, he's good at handing off and throwing 5-yard passes. Okay. Who's you going to hand off to at Minnesota? You got Justin Jefferson going to sit there and catch 20 balls because McCartney only can throw 5-yard passes. It's just pathetic. The defense, I think they think Minnie has a good defense. The Giants, I'm not sure. So really, we're looking at who's Minnie's quarterback. Hopefully, they go to Nick Mullins and can trade McCarthy before people realize he sucks. Oakland, San Diego. San Diego's got Herbert. Oakland you need Ken Stabler. What are you settling on Minshew for? And you didn't draft anybody. You do have Brock Bowers. LA got rid of all their receivers. So they're going to run the ball with Kelly from UCLA. And then they're going to, be cheap on their players or get a lot of these. I look for them to just run the ball and play defense like they think they're at Michigan. Problem is, you try to run the ball in Oakland, you're not going to do a whole lot. So we don't need to keep an eye on Herbert. Minshew's okay, but he's a backup. He's not a very good starter. So they need a quarterback. maybe now if they can get um, Cam Rising, then they're in the Super Bowl. With that defense and Brock Bowers and Devontae Adams, you add Cam Rising and they're beating Kansas City. If you don't do that and you go with Gardner Minshew, you're in big fucking trouble. Denver, Seattle, we like Bo Nix. They had pretty good draft. The Notre Dame running back. I think Denver will be very successful with Sean Payton. He's the key there as far as Seattle. Love their running backs. Love the two receivers, Lockett and Moncrief. Geno Smith or Metcalf. Geno Smith and the defense doesn't show up. Denver's defense, after they got torched by Miami, they did play pretty well. After that, I think they were like 17 points a game. So we'll see what they did. But Denver, I like a lot with Bo Nix and the Notre Dame running back. I think they'll be really good in Sean Payton calling the plays. Seattle, I don't like their coach. However, their offensive coordinator, if he's from the University of Washington as their offensive coordinator, I do look for that. But I got a feeling it was the head coach calling it. It's like it's like Belichick. You kept you kept hiring his assistants, and all of them sucked. Every one of them. None of them. The defensive coordinators couldn't because Belichick ran the defense. The coordinator did nothing. Look at Patricia. He didn't do anything. So it was all Belichick micromanaging it, which is why they fell apart when Brady left. But um, in this case, I think it was the Washington head coach, not the offensive coordinator, who made Penix and these guys and Oduzzi and those guys. Denver's got the coach and Sean Payton, so I'm looking for more from Denver with Bo Nix this year for sure. Dallas and Cleveland. Dallas might not win 8 games this year. You got me. You got fucking Prescott. What are you gonna do with him? Now you've added Ezekiel Elliott. What's he? He's in his 10th year. He hasn't done anything. Went to New England to not do anything. I like Ezekiel Elliott, but I don't see that. So Prescott, we know, sucks. So who's their backup? And then Cleveland, it doesn't matter who their quarterback is. I'm sure Deshaun Watson will start, but he sucks. And then they'll go to Thompson Robinson. He should be the starter and quit fucking around with Deshaun Watson. You can't sit out 2 years and he keeps getting hurt. He's not very good. I do like Chop. I do like Garrett. Good defensive team. Seemed like a well-coached team, although I don't know the coach. I like in this game, Cleveland's much better than Dallas. Not even close. Washington, Tampa, we got to see Daniels from LSU. Tampa Bay with a terrible coach. We know what the Baker is, but he's okay, but played at a few places and he sucked. He's okay. He's like Minshew, right? Same. He's a backup. They should be using Kyle Trask from Florida. I don't understand what they're doing, thinking they're going to win now. Really strange. And then we got the last two. The Rams, we know with Stafford. Detroit, we know with Goff. Funny how the Rams hated Goff, traded Goff to the Lions to get Stafford, who was like 37, 38. So wait a minute. They're bringing in the guy who's younger they don't like, they get rid of. Now all of a sudden he's good? With Sean McVay, the best offensive coach in the league, says, well, sorry, guy, you suck. Now, are the Lions smart enough to sign their offensive coordinator to a 5-year contract? Because if they don't, they just made a huge mistake on Goff. Goff's not very good. Now, look at Goff. He did that. Okay, he didn't show up in the second half of the Ram game, didn't show up in the second half of the Tampa game, and didn't show up in the second half of the Niner game. Part of it was because they kept going for fourth down. So he did show up a little bit, but then where was I on 4th and 2 twice? He didn't convert. Now they should never have gone for it and kicked field goals as we talk about, but that's Goff. You needed him to keep going against the Niners, but he didn't do it. Then he fumbled. He caused the fumble with the running back, and then boom, it's a tie game, and then they go for it on fourth again. They're down a field goal, and they don't take the field goal. I mean, you got to question if the coach has any football IQ at all. I don't see it. He's aggressive, and he might motivate his players, but at the end of the day, you got to have if that coach is going to call these decisions on fourth down and 2-point conversions, you need a new coach. Now, if your offensive coordinator is going to call those plays, that's okay, but you can't. The head coach can't go against the Niners and go, "Yeah, it's fourth down, we'll go for it." And if we don't get it, we don't go to the Super Bowl. And he still goes for it. Okay, you'll never go into the Super Bowl, and you're not Super Bowl ready. I don't want to hear that. They had a very weak schedule last year, not this year. All right, the Jets and the Niners. We're looking at the Jets. We're looking at Aaron Rodgers back, great defense, great running, great receivers. This is a championship team as long as Aaron Rodgers stays healthy. The Niners, well, we know they're a Super Bowl team. So the only thing preventing the Niners in KC again is the JETSs and Joe Burrow. In the AFC and the NFC, you really got nobody. Maybe the Rams. Let's see. In the NFC, Dallas, forget it. Philly, I doubt it. Green Bay could. They challenge the Niners. The Vikings and the Bears, forget it. The whole NFC South, forget it. So it's the Niners, the Rams, and Green Bay are your three teams with a chance in the NFC. Still goes through the Niners. They have the elite defense. Both the Rams and Green Bay are offensive teams. Look out. So the Lions go 12-5 against the weakest possible, against the Michigan schedule. And I just don't see them winning more than 9 games. I don't know who you're going to beat. Let's go through the Lions schedule since I am a Lion. I'm not a Lion fan. I would never admit to that. They're the stupidest organization I've ever seen in my life. Let's see. Does it give schedule? Let's see, Detroit's schedule, but they're giving me last year's. Like, I don't want to see last year's schedule. I want to see next year's schedule. Oh, okay, yeah, it does. Okay. So here's next week's. This is the schedule. So they go against the Rams. That's a loss. Tampa at home. That's probably a win. At Arizona's a loss. They never play well there. Seattle always beats them. So they got a pretty easy first 4 games. You got the Rams are tough. Tampa, and then Arizona. Kyler Murray will give them fits, and then Seattle beats them. So a couple there. Dallas, at Dallas, that's a loss. At Minnie, that's a win because Minnie sucks. They don't have a quarterback. Tennessee, that's a win. Green Bay, that's a loss. Houston, that's a loss. Jacksonville, that's a loss. At Indy, that's a loss. Against the Bears, that's a win. Green Bay, that's a loss. Buffalo's a loss. The Bears are a win. The Niners are a loss. And the Vikings, we'll see. That's January 5th. So I've got let's see, 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4, 0-5, 1-5, 2-5, 2-6, 2-7, 2-8, 2-9, 3-9, 4-9, 4-10. I think I've 4-10, 5-10, 5-11, 6-11. So I got them winning about 6 games, both beer games, and that's 4. Indy, Jacksonville. They beat Tennessee is 5, and that's about it. So 5 wins. I don't see who else they're going to beat. They're not going to beat the Rams, Tampa. They're not going to win at Arizona, and they never beat Seattle. So the Tennessee, both Bears is 4, both Vikings. So that's 5 wins, both Vikings, both Bears, and Tennessee. We give them another win, maybe against Jacksonville at home. They lose to Green Bay. They lose to Buffalo. They're losing at Arizona. Maybe they beat Tampa, but they don't beat Seattle. They're going to look at 5 or 6 wins for the beloved Lions. So they got the Rams in Tampa, Seattle, Dallas, Green Bay, Houston, Jacksonville, Indy, Green Bay, and they get Buffalo and Frisco. So they get lucky that Minnesota and Chicago suck. Otherwise, those would be gone also. Anyway, so that's the Lions wonderful team. All right. So let's go through our games. We got Philly over 8.5. Baseball, Philly over 8.5, Boston over 8, Pitt. The 5-unit play is the Dodgers for 5 units, and then Minnesota is a 5-unit play, minus 2.5 in the NBA. There was only 6 games today, and the Yankees won at 1 o'clock. In the Gold Room, we've got gold at 23.78, so it's really sitting there. I think it was 23.76 when we started. It's 23.78, hit 23.80. So it's not going too far. And then silver, 29.69. Silver's a mess. As soon as it starts going, it got double hit down to 29.39. But then there seems to be the resistance, and it went up to 23.70, 29.70. I look for silver to go over 30 tomorrow, which means 35 is coming. And I look for gold to be 2,400. I don't think they had their little moment. It's shrunk to 22.90. Luke freaked out. Understand, Luke. Now we're back to 23, back into the upper 23.70s and 80s. And now we go to 24. I don't know what happened with brics. I'll have to watch Mark McGuire tomorrow because they really didn't say. Some African lady, their finance minister, I guess, said, well, all the countries are going to go and take a look at it. But I thought it was already locked in with Russia. I think Russia's already like, okay, we're going out with the gold-backed currency. I don't know what they're waiting for. And the problem is just do it, because then you're going to put 40 more countries in. You don't want to be, okay, let's do it for all 40 countries. No, you got to have the BRICS gold-backed currency, and that's why the countries want to join. They want to join for the gold-backed currency. Bitcoin. All right, let's see what the Bitcoin is at today. But I have a story about Bitcoin that's going to wake you guys up. Bitcoin is 65,000. So it got all the way down to 57.5, and then it slowly went back to the 60s, and it's at 65,000 now. Interesting. Okay, I was watching a video, which I am going to show you. So that's it. So gold 23.78, silver 29.70. So you guys ready for the real reason about Bitcoin? This is what I'm going to say is going to freak you all out. I was watching something about the dark web. Don't know what it is, thought I'd watch it. And we will watch the 28-minute mark.
I am here to tell you today that your feelings are valid. Your trauma is valid. Your hurt is your hurt.
Nobody cares.
Okay, how do I pay for that anonymously? Maybe someone like me may have used Bitcoin.
This is the dark web, black market trade, Cybercom, Alpha Bay. This is a few years ago. This is on new, but it was a few years ago.
For a Dutch passport, that would be about 4,500, given today's rate of Bitcoin, which is about 10,000 for one Bitcoin. Yeah, we accept all cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrency is definitely the payment choice. So there's my Bitcoin wallet, and this gives me the QR code. If someone else wants to send me Bitcoin, they just scan this QR code, and then it goes to my Bitcoin address, and then the Bitcoin will come to my account. Bitcoin can be used for many legitimate things, many legitimate reasons. It just happens to also be the number one choice for people selling things on the dark web. There's no way of tracking it, or there's no way of tying a cryptocurrency wallet or address to a person. Traditionally, a lot of crime has been caught by busting the trail of money, because money always leaves a trail.
แต่สมมุติว่าเป็นเงินฝากตัวเขารู้แบงค์รู้หลายคนรู้สามารถตรวจสอบได้แต่ที่นี่คือตัวเขาเองเท่านั้นจะเห็นว่าการค้าเนี่ยมันเหมือนเป็น virtual มันไม่ใช่เป็น actual มันเป็น virtual ไม่ว่าการค้ายาเสพติดข้อมูลในไฟล์ต่างมันอยู่ในอากาศทั้งหมดเลย
So you can send millions of dollars to someone else on the other end of the world and receive goods in return without anyone in between actually seeing or knowing. The growth of cryptocurrencies, it's been very much pitched directly on the growth of the dark web and financial services on the dark web.
%50 of Bitcoins are illegal transactions.
People have been selling drugs and other illicit goods on the web pretty much since the 1990s. So what was different with Silk Road? Well, what was different with Silk Road is that it tried to provide what I would call an end-to-end anonymity platform. It combines network anonymity through the use of Tor, so that an observer cannot tell which machine is connecting to which server to do those transactions.
So I'm going to stop it here. So, you Bitcoin boys, now we understand what Bitcoin, the point. Here's the This is what the video, the dark web, black market trade, cybercrime, crying alpha bane. That's the name of this video. It's been out, uh, I'm sure, a long time ago, but it was reintroduced 9 days ago. So it was already out there. This is like 2016, 2017. So the point was, we're going to do all these illegal things on the dark web, but we don't want to take credit cards because then everybody can trace it. Drugs, prostitution, a bunch of illegal stuff, guns. They certainly didn't want to be traced. So if you're going to buy drugs, you don't want, that's why you deal in cash, right? So I don't want anybody to know I did it. So I'll use Bitcoin because Bitcoin will be untraceable. That is why Bitcoin's Bitcoin. It is not cash. It is not gold. It is not money. And by the way, I don't do the drugs and stuff, but um, that was why you could do it on the web. Is it's Bitcoin, so nobody knows who. You can't tell who did it. And that's the problem with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin will never go anywhere because of this whole thing where it's all illegal stuff. So that's why Bitcoin was Bitcoin. They said, oh, good, I can use it to buy all this shit on this dark web thing. I only knew of the dark web from Money Heists when they were buying guns and tanks and everything else was bought on the dark web with Bitcoin. So that is why Bitcoin is so popular. All these people doing all these illegal activities on the dark web, mostly this Alpha Bay and then this Silk Road and whatever the shit else is out there. But that's what they're doing. That's why Bitcoin has the value, because it's the only thing they'll take. They're not going to take your credit card or debit card or PayPal, anything that can be linked back to you. So that makes it appealing. So you realize Bitcoin is all crap, right? It's just for people to hide, so nobody knows who they are or what they did. That's why, this is what I have against it, where you can't track it, but they're going to kill it. The government certainly doesn't want all this illegal activity, and that's why Bitcoin was invented. Hate to break it to you, Bitcoin boys, but that's why it has a value. It's just that's where the demand comes from. Oh, I can buy illegal stuff on the dark web, but I need Bitcoin. You could only pay in Bitcoin. So because they needed Bitcoin, people would join Bitcoin to get it so they could buy the stuff. And I think Bitcoin's too expensive. I don't know. Well, I guess you can buy $1,000 worth or whatever. But when money goes out, the dark web goes out because you can't use Bitcoin because it's priced in dollars. So you're really going to be in trouble. We'll be in gold. It won't really matter for us. See, gold's legal, and I don't know that they can take gold because it's physical, right? Where Bitcoin's is a scam. So again, it's clearly a Madoff scam, Bitcoin. So if you have it and are you safe? I don't know. Can anybody get your address? I don't know. This isn't known to me, but after watching 24, I would assume they can do anything they want. So just understand that is why Bitcoin's Bitcoin. And it's not good. I mean, don't be naive. If you're in Bitcoin, you're in it for the wrong reason. If you think, oh, it's going to go to $1 million. Now we can see why there is heavy demand to buy these illegal stuff on these black markets, but they arrested this guy and they arrested the Silk Road guy. So they don't get away with it.
somebody else new comes in and says, well, I'll sell, drugs and guns and stuff, and maybe you buy it from them. That's the whole funny part about gun control. Uh, the Bitcoin people who want to use the guns will get the guns. So if you're honest and, well, you got starting it, we'll have gun control, then we won't have anybody shot with a gun. These people are out of their freaking minds. All the criminals who are buying the drugs and all the other stuff on the dark web will buy the guns. They'll have the guns. You're not getting rid of them. They'll have the guns. The only thing is they'll know you don't have them now. So I can go into any house I want with a gun, and I know you don't have any defense. You don't have a gun. That's the problem with gun control. I don't, should they have invented guns? Well, probably not, but it's for the armies, so the military does what they want. And since they're out there, you've opened Pandora's box. Now the guns are out there.
No, you want the honest people to not buy them, but the honest people don't shoot anybody, right? The dishonest people shoot, right? The dishonest people, the criminals who want to rob you, shoot. They're the ones with the guns, and you can't stop them from getting the guns. They'll just get them on the dark web with Bitcoin. Now maybe you understand. So Bitcoin to me is very. I always said it was tied to Russian mafia, and this is proof. I'm sure the Russian mafia is involved. I was watching a video yesterday about our friend Putin. And it was showing he's got a lot of freaking houses and cars and airplanes and boats. This guy makes Lex Luthor look like a Boy Scout. Where's my link to this? Alright, give me a second.
a second. Sorry.
Welcome back. Making sense in seconds, but we're taking the spoils of his riches have included the Chelsea soccer team, one of the world's biggest.
So this is Putin. This is his boat. This is the video. The mind-boggling wealth and privilege of Russian oligarchs. But they're talking about, I think they're talking about. Anyway, maybe not. He owns all these houses. He owns all these boats. He owns airplanes. He owns a train that has a freaking train that has a jacuzzi in it, a pool table, a theater. It's a fucking train. His jets are the same thing. It's got it's a jacuzzi, a bed, and these beds are beautiful. This guy's got billions of dollars, but he only makes 300,000 a year. Sound familiar? A government guy with billions of dollars. So, it's very, very shady. All these politicians who have a lot of money. He's been elected 5 times. This is another good one. I think I showed you is how the Vatican launders money. The Vatican's crooked. Everything's crooked. Now this is Neldy Pandor. Says everybody's going to come out and we'll reinvent. Everybody's going to make their opinion on what to do. Well, we're going to do gold-backed currency, lady. Anyway, that was it. But it was like Putin. If you get a chance to watch it, it's unbelievable. Putin with all this 5, 6 houses and boats and these cars. They're like $1 million cars that were made in Russia, like BMWs and all these beautiful cars that I don't even know where they make them from. I think some are Russian made, which doesn't make sense. Let's see. I don't even think this is. I wonder if I didn't like it. I did like it, but I wonder if I didn't hit the like button. Anyway. I'll have to look for that one again, but it was a good one. It just shows you what goes on here. I don't know if that was the Putin one or not. It seems to have oligarchs in it, which are just rich people.
Putin's in China meeting Xi, probably up to no good. Funny, it shows Putin doing like jujitsu, and I can see Biden and Trump doing it. He's got this hot little gymnast girlfriend, Putin. He's divorced, and his girlfriend, he's been his girlfriend for a while. She was a gymnast. Where the fuck? Well, I'll look for it. I'll show it to you tomorrow. Anyway, that's what we got. So, this is Stone Cold. We got Philadelphia over 8.5, Boston over 8, Pitt, Dodgers is the 5 unit, and Minnesota in the NBA -2.5. I'm trying to figure out why my screen's black on here when I try to do a live like I'm doing now. I can use the phone. I don't know how it comes across, and I don't know if I have everything set on it properly or not, but I'll play with it. Anyway, I don't know why it was black before the screen and then it changed. When I go into my picture, it's fine. I can see myself just like this. So it's not the cam on my it's not the cam on my computer. It is working, but it's something when I'm in YouTube that I'm not seeing myself. Like now I can see myself in the phone as you can see me, but I can't figure it out. So anyway, that's where we're at. Hopefully, I don't think I did it right. I screwed up the video yesterday where it kept saying processing, and I'm like, this is usually done right away. So I gotta take a refresher course. I think I just hit the X, and then I gotta name this, and then save it, and then it should be right out there. So I don't think it should take time. This is a live thing here also. So good luck, boys, on your baseball picks, basketball picks. Football, it's exciting to go through week 1. Very, very interesting. So we got to keep an eye on we got to figure out who the quarterback is. I think Brissett starts at New England. Daniels has to start at Washington. Atlanta will be interesting. And Caleb starting for the Bears. Good luck. I would not bet on the Bears at least 5 weeks until you know what you got. And we'll see how Pittsburgh does with Russell Wilson. And most of the teams we understand. Dallas is going to suck. Look for Green Bay to be good. Minnesota, who's their quarterback? If Mullins is their quarterback, they should be all right. If it's J.J. McCarthy, then they won't win a game. So the Bears and the Bears are stuck because they only got Caleb. So they're in big trouble. But Minnesota with McCarthy, they can go to Mullins and be better than if they had McCarthy. So you got to watch those two. And then obviously New England has Brissett, so he'll probably start over this Drake May, who sucks. But you don't even have a coach at New England, so it's really tough. Giants suck. Washington, so there's a lot of bad teams like last year. Houston, Indy, Tennessee's going to really suck. Carolina, what are you expecting there? 3 wins, maybe? Who are they going to beat? Who are they better than? Tennessee, Washington. I mean, come on. Atlanta, man, not if Penix starts, they won't beat Atlanta. Anyway, so that's basically it. So I am going to try to figure out why the hell I'm getting a black screen, although I can't really figure it out. Last time it happened,
it happened a day or two, and I turned off my computer, and the next day I went in and it was working, and I said, okay, um, that's fine. And so what I'm not sure really how I fixed it or what caused it because I didn't do anything. I didn't touch it. All of a sudden, it did that. So, not really sure what setting, but it works. That's the fun when I go into my photo app and I do a video or a picture. The damn cam's working, so I can see myself there. So I don't really get it. On Stoic News, I did hear from Daria this morning. It's funny, I had written to her, how hard is it? Like everybody says, how hard is it to take 30 seconds to say hello? And so that's what I got, a 30-second. I haven't talked to her in a few days. She's not feeling well. How are you doing? How are you doing? And then today I got good morning, love, and kisses. And it was like, and that was it. And then she's trying to say, yeah, that's all I got is a minute. And I'm starting to get mental notes that really she's just very busy between work and the daughter and making dinner. And that's, I started thinking about that stoically going, yeah, I'm home, right? I got another interview, a really weird interview yesterday. I had to fill out this survey and you had to rank things like, you know, sort of like, do you want to eat chicken ribs or mice? Of course it's chicken ribs and then, dead mice or whatever. So it was kind of a weird thing. But anyway, thinking about it, she's working with the daughter, and the daughter's younger than Jenna's not working with the 16-year-old son. So for her, she's got more time to text me, right? And with Daria, she's busy, and I can see that. Like I'm busy now. I'm not going to text Jenna and Daria in the middle of the show, although I do once in a while. What are you going to do with? So it's not that she's not thinking of me or she's with somebody else or how she feels about me. It's she is busy, which then makes her, if she is busy, then it would make her, why are you, why aren't you texting me? And she probably is like, oh, I don't really have time to get into it. And so I'll text you when I have time is probably what the answer is. And she's just busy. And she's got the mother and the daughter, and the mother's in America, and the job, and it's Russia, and all this stuff. So stoically, we need to understand um, she's not ignoring me, but that's how screwed up we get is when we say to your girlfriend hello, you expect a hello back, or your kids or something. You expect a return, and when you don't get it, you're like, what's going on? Um, so that's the problem. When somebody doesn't respond to you in a day, you're like, you mad at me? Or, why aren't you responding is really what you're trying to do stoically. And that's really the problem. So that's what you get, especially with a different culture. That's why we need to meet. Jenna talks to me every day because we've met. She knows me. She knows I'm just like this, and that's what she, uh, wants is she knows that I'm honest with her. And with Daria, she hasn't met me yet, so we'll do that soon. But I did say, how hard is it to just and say something? And so anyway, that's where we're at. So okay, I got 20. So that's where we're at. Is just yeah, I'm a little blurry, aren't I? I just did that. Just want to see how much battery I had. I have 20, but now I'm blurry. So I will end with the stoic. It's basically
not intentional. She's not responding. She's just busy between her job and her daughter that she can't. Or she maybe wants to talk to me but doesn't have time. And so it's like, well, when I'm not working, I will talk to you, which is what she's done to me a lot. Where I haven't heard from her for 3 or 4 days. She says I was working or I was mad at work. So she'll make those comments, and I'm going, wow, I was working, so what's the big deal? And but then when she's not working, we tend to have a bigger conversation. So I like I said, I need to figure out that, oh, okay, when she's working, it's Russia. You work 10, 12 hours a day, and then when you're doing it, I don't know why I'm blurry. When you're doing that, when you are doing that, you are just busy, and let's see. See, that's not blurry. Why am I blurry here? Oh, there I am. Oh, I might have hit that when I flipped it down to see my time left. So anyway, that's the stoic part. So stoics are very hard because mentally we're thinking, I texted my girlfriend, my wife, my daughter. I said, hi, how are you? Where's the response? And so when you don't get it, you tend to, maybe it's just me, maybe it's not. You tend to think, why aren't they responding? Is there a problem? And that, I think, is the key to it is, no, there is no problem. I mean, her last text to me was, I love you. Haven't heard from her for a few days. And then today's text was, good morning. I love you, and her little emojis. So that's the thing. Look, as well as I can see, if they don't block you and everything's fine, everything's fine. And they know that you love them because you say it, and and so you got to trust that they love you because they say it, that it's not a scam, that she just doesn't want your money because she's actually not wanting money. She's going out of her way not to ask me for money now, where she said, oh, I need to go shopping for this or that, but I don't want to ask you for money because she doesn't want to lose me, because that's what the Russian women, if they're scamming you, will ask you for money. But if they're not asking you for money, because they don't want to lose you. And so with me, she doesn't want to lose me. So we're just waiting for the meet. As soon as the mom can come take care of the daughter, we'll meet in Serbia. Hopefully the whole world isn't destroyed by then, but it's crazy. So anyway, that's stoic. You got to be sure, she loves you. She's just busy. See, you kind of have to figure it out on your own. She has said this, but I haven't really listened to her. She said, I was busy working, or I had a problem and I was mad and I didn't want to talk to you then. And so I think that's kind of the thing. Anyway, so I was happy to hear from her. That's all I did is I woke up to her, and I haven't heard from her since. But I still said, I did this and I did that. Anyway, so good luck on the baseball, the basketball. Basketball, again, we're betting teams with the back against the wall, works a lot. And then in baseball, we're betting on the starters. But today I couldn't really find anything but the Dodger game. So that's what we're going with. My gout's crazy. I don't even know what to eat anymore. I had a Diet Coke from the gas station, and now my foot's, like I haven't had one in a month. I had one. That's the thing that's getting me. Before I could drink a couple of Slurpees or Cokes and I would get nothing. I'd be fine, but I got heavy. And so my blood pressure went up. So I got all that fixed. But now it's like I'll have
a big Diet Coke, and now I'm getting gout like every other week, and it's really frustrating to me. And it's funny is I feel good, and I say, oh, okay, I can have a chocolate ice cream, and I can have a Diet Coke with the Chinese, and then boom. So I don't know. I think this was from too much ice cream, but I got to be careful with my sugars. It's not supposed to be gout, but it was in my knee. It finally left my knee. Now it's in my Achilles on my right foot. This is very painful to walk, but it feels like it's a little bit loosening up. And we'll see where it is tomorrow. Hopefully it'll clear up. But it's just funny when you're walking and everything's fine, you have no problems. But as soon as you get gout, it's like, oh shit! Now I can't walk again. I'm limping around at the club going to the hot tub in the pool, and I'm walking in the pool, and it feels good because I can put pressure on it because I don't weigh anything in the pool. It's like 5 foot, 5'1", and so that kind of loosens it up. And then I go into the hot tub and I can kind of rub it, but it's very sensitive. And then and then I can put my shoe on, which I couldn't before. So I can put my shoe on, but I can't walk. I walk like a pirate. I got my right foot sticking out as I go. And again, you're trying to be stoic, and but it's painful. So that's why I'm a little bit late. And then we will see. Hopefully, I'm better. Tomorrow should be Mark McGuire. I'm interested to hear about the brics gold back currency. It's all I really care about. We will see. I was surprised. All I see is this one African lady saying, is this them saying it, and then she said, "Well, all the countries will go back and check it out." I thought it was a done deal that the Russians had come out with it, and it's coming out. So they did mention the currency, but it's like, well, that'll come out, I guess, in October. And I'm like, no, no, no. Stop fucking around, because there's another 30, 40 countries that want to join it. What are you going to have, 40 different proposals? They want to join because you're having the gold back currency. They're all buying gold. So I think it's a done deal. And again, I don't know why she's announcing it, but we will see. Anyway, have a good day. I will figure out this black screen if I can. Otherwise, I'll just do it on the phone. I hope this is okay. I do see your chats, Real D and Grega John. So hopefully that's okay. I might play around with this just to get it right, but I haven't had to, because normally I do this on my laptop. And I might go buy a new laptop because I really don't like this Google Chrome. I would advise never to buy a Google Chrome laptop, to buy the Microsoft. It's a little bit more expensive, but you're much better off with Microsoft, even though it's kind of a little bit more scammable. But we will see. Anyway, so now you know about Bitcoin. It is used for the dark web, and it's the only thing used on the dark. Well, crypto. So if you have other forms of Bitcoin, you can use it to buy illegal things on the dark web. So just be careful with that. Otherwise, have a good night. I will see you tomorrow at some point, and we'll look a little bit more at football. It's always exciting to look at. We got baseball. We should have a full slate. So I'll try to come on a little earlier. We got Mark McGuire in the morning, and we'll see. I'll look for Egon, see what he's saying. Otherwise, have a nice night. www.teaserking.com. We're a little bit early on football, but it's out there. I think the prices aren't changing, so they should be good. And I've added the class, $25 a class for economics and gold. And I might do the same for football. We'll have to see. Anyway, have a nice night. Take care. Feel good. Not too much sugar, please. All right. Take care, everybody.